Y'all, welcome back to the channel. I am Lady Nika, and with a review for If Loving You Is Wrong. It was the season finale tonight, guys, and it was pretty good. Nothing that I didn't expect happened, but nevertheless, pretty good episode, you know. So let's just jump right on into it. We start off again. We're back over at Brad and Alex's. Remember last week they were having an argument about how Brad basically was breaking down, telling this woman exactly the depth of the hurt that he's feeling behind her betrayal with his best friend of all people, right? So they out there, you know, they in there arguing, and Marcy pimped Brad ass into going over there, actually knocking on them people's door. And when he got over there, he found out that, you know, basically she pimped him up to do it because she wanted Brad to jump on his ass. Marcy thing is hurt him as much as he hurt me. We'll talk about Brad's position on that later on, but for now, you know, he went over there knocking on them people damn door like he was the man, you know, and Brad opened the door and told him to get his ass off their property and stuff. And meanwhile, like I said, Marcy was over there cheerleading. You know, she want Brad to kick his ass because she hurt, and anything that'll cause Randall discomfort, she for it. And you know, a lot of women can identify with that because we do that in our everyday life. Okay, so after, you know, it appeared that Brad wasn't gonna jump on his ass, well, that made Marcy even madder. So she started screaming, you know, that her husband slept with Alex in her house, in Brad and Brad and Alex's house, and you know, she doing it as it's like a neighborhood service call that she's giving. So she telling everybody in the neighborhood, check your house. They might have been in there fucking too. They done been fucking everywhere. And you know, Randall takes her back in the house. He picks up and has to physically take her in the house because she's drunk, but she's speaking from a hurt place, just like Brad has been doing. But that's what happened with that. You know, Brad mad as hell. Alice looking like she just totally embarrassing, could just drop dead. You know, the white girl, I can't handle it look. But that's what happened on that end. Then we're going to go on over there to the PJs, and Natalie, Joey, and Lucian, they talking, you know. And Joey is telling Lucian that Quan did it because Quan had came into the restaurant and actually asked that Lucian be called. So he knew that something was up. And he apologized to Joey, you know, to Lucian at that time, telling him that he didn't know it was going to be what it was, but he knew something was up because Quan did want to speak with Lucian, and he knew that, you know, he had already been saying the man had stole his dope and his money and shit, okay? Well, Lucian, being the good man that he is, tells him, you never apologize for being, you know, doing the right thing. Because Joey is feeling like if he had not possibly jumped on Quan and took that money back that he had originally stole from the burger joint, none of this would be going on. And that's really just not the case. With thugs, it's always going to be something. You can avoid trouble with a thug, but if a thug really want to come for you, they will. They'll find any excuse to, and that's all it was. So, you know, he tell him don't ever back down, you know, never feel apologetic for standing on your principle and doing the right thing. It's hard to do the right thing, but never apologize for that. And I was here for that. Well, after he tells him that, you know, Lucian asks can he talk to Natalie alone. So, of course, Joey gets out of the room, and, you know, Lucian tells her that they weren't shooting at him. You know, because she's saying she want him to quit and stuff. She paranoid that something gonna happen to him, you know, especially being with a partner like Eddie. So she want him to quit, and he telling her now, you know, he worked too hard to get to this spot, and he's not gonna give it up. And he also lets her know at that time they weren't trying to shoot at me. They were shooting at Eddie. So for a split second, it's almost as if she thought that maybe Lucian had something to do with the stuff that Eddie does. So she asked him that. And he was kind of appalled, taken back by that shit, which I would have been too. You know, I've been with you all this time trying to prove to you the type of man that I am. Why did you even think to question whether or not I am involved in illegal, you know, crooked cop type of dealings? Well, she realized the error of her ways, and I don't think she ever really think that Lucian is doing anything, wrong. I think it's more or less the fact that she just really scared. She don't know what to believe. Well, he tell her when that shooting occurred at the burger joint and she came out, he could look in her face and tell it was nothing there but concern and love. And he's asking her, do she love him? Well, Nelly always trying to play like she's so hard. But we all know the game. That's what a hard bitch do. I do it all the time. I hate to admit, that I got a vulnerable soft side. But I do, And when it's necessary, it comes out. It's a few people who have been privileged to see that softer side of me. So I could get where she going with that. But she did admit she loved him. And she apologized for ever doubting him. She's just at a place where she just don't want nothing to happen to her good man. She knows she got one. And she admitted that she loved him. And he know he loved her too. I hope that, in the seasons to come, they get closer. I really do. I hope that, she allow him to be the man that he can be for her and that she probably really needs in her life. But anyway, while they talking, Lucian is saying that maybe, this situation happening will change who Eddie is becoming. He'll get his thing together. And she agreeing maybe something like this, because we all know sometimes it takes a tragedy to shake a motherfucker mind back right. So they hoping that hopefully with this happening to him that he will change, how he acts and things and the way he do things. Well, while they're saying that, Lucian gets a call from Captain Mackey, and Captain Mackey is saying that he wants to talk to Lucian tomorrow, which is his day off, with internal affairs, and he tells Natalie that that's a normal procedure anytime police officers involved in any kind of altercation, be a shootout or anything. They have to do an in-depth report into it, and usually it's the internal affairs people that do those interviews, conduct those investigations to make sure that the police officer is not at any fault. So we're going to go on over there to Kelly's house, and Kelly there, she making her some candle. That's her sideline thing she does for relaxation on her day off. And Marcy comes by to inquire about how things went with Travis, because she, to what Marcy says, she seen the car there all night. So while they was having the big meltdown with Alex and Brad and Randall and Marcy, Kelly was getting her box handled by Travis, and I ain't mad at her. And she tell him that, he left at 4 o'clock in the morning, which was like Marcy said, that's the next day, bitch. But anyway, she say he left sucking his thumbs, and they do a little small talk about the hobby of candle making, and she goes on to tell her about, she feels that she's drinking and she's drinking too much and they arguing too much, her and Randall. She just wants really to be out of the relationship because she's done. I've been with Marcy at. Marcy, she's so hurt by everything that's going on. She in that vindictive stage. She want to say and do anything to cause him to feel an inch of what she feeling right now. Not realizing that each time she do something to him, it only makes it worse for her, really. You don't get the satisfaction that you think that you'll get out of hurting someone who's hurt you by doing something back toward them. You actually hurt yourself more, okay? Especially if that's not your character. And clearly that's not her character. Well, she tells Kelly about, what happened the night before with Brad and Alex arguing, and Brad going over there, Randall going over there trying to confront Brad, and how she basically put Alex and fucking Randall on blast in the neighborhood, screaming about what their situation was. He slept with her and, all that shit. Okay. Marcy also thanks Kelly at that point for being there for her, even though she know that Alex and Kelly are friends. You understand? She understand that their friendship is probably a little stronger, but out of all the women, as we can see, the only person really been there for Marcy has been Kelly. Esperanza and Natalie seem to be a little bit more tolerable Alex. Although they are saying in this episode that they don't agree with what Alex did, they showing more loyalty and support toward Alex than they have shown toward Marcy. Okay, nobody's knocking on Marcy though to see if she all right. Nobody's running by her house to make sure she's okay. You know, but they breaking their necks with this bitch Alex. Okay. Well, anyway, Marcy thanks Kelly for being that type of person. And Kelly say even though they friends, she friends with both of them, she don't agree with what Alex did. Alex was wrong. She had no right to sleep with that woman's husband. And Marcy's basically saying she wants it to be over, but I don't really think she really do. I think she just hurt as fuck, you know. She's saying he won't sign the divorce papers, he won't move out, and all this shit. And I think because I got a phone call, my phone had died, and it finally did recharge up. I got a phone call doing this. I'm not certain, and I don't feel like going back and rewinding because I did record it. But I don't feel like rewinding this, so you can get me together in the panty section if you want to. But I believe she was talking about possibly getting her an apartment and moving out that house because it's clear. Randall is not moving out that house. He done made that clear. He ain't doing no divorcing, and he not moving. So I think she was talking about she was on her way to go look at an apartment, possibly for her, but I'm not certain because we know she's a real estate agent as well. So y'all let me know down in that panty section if that little part there was actually about her getting an apartment or her going to show an apartment. But anyway, she running them teas down there to Kelly, and guess who knocked on Kelly's front door? Because Marcy came to the side door. It's Alex. She's coming in there. She's upset. She's telling Kelly about, you know, what happened. Her and Brad got into it. That Randall knocked on the door. That Marcy went the fuck off on her and, you know, embarrassed her in front of anybody, any of the neighbors that may have been out. You know, she went in about them sleeping together and stuff. And she also told Kelly that Brad ain't tell her shit. She said Marcy told her that Brad slept with her, and Randall also said it as well. Well, as she's saying this, she look over and see that Marcy is standing there in Kelly's kitchen. And y'all know Marcy don't give two fucks. She want to hurt them both bad. That she want them to feel what she felt. So she tell her, you know, hello, bitch. And Kelly is telling Marcy to stop. You know, don't do her like that, you know. And she went on to say that Brad, you know, she did go to Brad's office, and she tells Alex that she freaked him. We all know that's a lie, but of course Alex don't know it's a lie, so she ate up in the inside about that. She told her that they did it over and over again, and she told Alex that they'll do it over and over again in the future, and that Alex can't take it too bad. But she gonna do her husband every chance she get. Well, of course, you know, Alex can't take in it, so here she go doing the white girl cry and run out the door. Well, Marcy apologizes to Kelly for doing so much in her house and hurting Alex like that. But she still asked Marcy to go with her to look at this apartment, and Marcy and Kelly agreed, so they leave. Well, over at the police department, you got Captain Mackey asking if Eddie was a bad cop. The way the conversation went was he had Lucian come in, and he tells Lucian that he already had a file on Eddie. You know, people had been making complaints about him, and that he was really surprised that something just now happened, considering how long Eddie has had different complaints filed against him for misconduct, you know, as a police officer, right? Well, he also goes on to let Lucian know that according to the ballistic reports, Eddie was the intended target. So he know that whoever was shooting wasn't shooting at both of them. Although, you know, he glad that Lucian didn't get hurt. He also able to tell that by the way things went, Lucian was never in danger of being hurt. They was after Eddie. So that's why he asking him, is he a good cop or a bad cop? And it's at that point, Lucian don't want to be involved. And he pretty much tell him that, you know, I don't want to really have anything to do with that. But Captain Mackey tells Lucian, look, Internal Affairs is going to be here soon, and what I need from you is to know, is this a bad cop or not a bad cop before they get here. I need to know how I'm going to handle this situation, and we pan away from that and we don't go back to it. So I guess we'll find out when this shit returns what's going to happen. We're going to go back to Brad and Alex's house. And she now has ran from Kelly's house and she done went home. And she packing up the kids' stuff, okay? She telling them kids that they going to go with her to grandma's house for a while. And the kids ain't here for that. They asking her, you know, what's going on? You and Dad having problems? Are y'all about to get a divorce? She's saying, no, you know, we just having some problems right now. I made him angry. And the kids are like, I told y'all, these some smart ass little white kids. These kids is asking the questions that need to be asked that we would not have asked our parents that, because we might have got fucked up asking grown people their business. But them kids basically like, you know, what's going on? Now, Dad told us when somebody do something wrong. Well, first they told her, their mama, you need to apologize if you angered him. Well, she's saying that she did apologize, but it's not as simple as, you know, it's not as simple as he can just forgive it. You know, it's going to take some time. And they saying, well, according to what he's taught us, when we have conflict with our friends and people at school, when they apologize, we're supposed to accept. So why is he not accepting it? Maybe he needs to accept. And Brad is on the outside of the door listening in. So he walks in there, and the kids basically start saying to him what they were saying to their mom, you know. She apologized. Why can't you accept her apology? You told us that when we have conflict with people and they apologize, we're supposed to accept. So you need to be accepting her apology, because we don't want to go to grandma's house. And Brad told them that they didn't have to go. And they was like, good, because we don't want to go. But he tells them that he needs some time to talk to their mom alone. And he sends them outside in the backyard to, you know, play until they finish their conversation, okay? So after a little bit of coaxing that, in my opinion, was a little bit too long, because I come from an era that when the grown people say leave the room, you don't take your time and you don't have no back talk. You just get your ass up and you move to the back of wherever the hell they tell you to go. But this is 2015, so we're going to go roll with that. Take the children a minute. They got some final thoughts before they leave, and then they leave. Well, once they leave, Brad is telling her, why are you trying to turn children against me? And she's like, I'm not. That's the only way I can explain why we leaving. Plus, I don't want to be in here anymore, because you're not going to continue to turn the dagger that's in my heart. I know that you slept with Marcy, and Brad has she told me, and so did Randall. Now, we all know that that's a lie, okay? That's just some shit she's saying. But of course, Alex don't know that yet, okay? But the one thing that did not work in her favor was when she should have just said, Marcy told me that you and her slept together. This dumb bitch do stuff to make it hard for herself. Not only have you told him Marcy told you this, but now you done told him you got the 411 from Randall too, which leads him to ask you the question, oh, so y'all still talk? Girl, if you trying to get your man back, you don't keep talking to the nigga that you fucked up with. Now, this is already his best friend that you've been sleeping with and creeping with and possibly pregnant for. But you, now, all these months that y'all supposed to be, you know, done found out and you having all these problems with this man, the last thing you want him to know is that you had any kind of conversation. I don't care if it's just one conversation with him or not, so that he could tell you that Marcy supposedly slept with your husband. Girl, you weren't supposed to tell him that you had any contact with Randall at all, dummy. Damn this girl, child. Okay. But anyway, he automatically zoomed in on that and she tried to fix it. But the bottom line was, look, he didn't deny it and he didn't confirm it, but he told her, you can go, but the kids are not leaving. And she basically had some type of meltdown, like, you know, why you doing this to me? I love you. I want my relationship with you. I want my marriage with you. And I feel her pain, but I also can more understand and identify with Brad, because where was all that love when you was sneaking out in that shed, you know, banging this man like you was, well, letting this man bang your box like you was doing? Now, don't get me wrong. I can understand. A couple of times he throw the ass up. Y'all done told y'all I like that throw up against a wall shit. You can throw a bitch up a wall and get her mind together. But in her case, nah. But, you know, basically he told her she care ass, but the kids ain't going nowhere, you know. And she asked, you know, she basically tried to hug him and console with him and tell him she loved him and basically begging yet again. And he pushed her away. And when he pushed her away, she did what they always do. You know, they take off running. Okay. Well, Marcy arrives back at home and Brad is outside. He tells her he was wanted to see her and he asks her why she lied to his wife like that. And basically Marcy is saying, look, you didn't want to lie. You don't want to see her in pain. You don't want to make them feel bad. And Brad's position is no. I love for my wife. You know, even though that she's done what she's done, we have a whole family and a new baby on the way and everything. I don't really just want to, you know, continue to be mad at her. I don't want to continue to not speak to her. I want this to end, you know, and you should feel the same way. Well, Marcy not there. Marcy in that stage of finding out your mate done did something to you. I call it the revenge state. She at that stage now where she wants to see him hurt more than she wants to mend his broken heart or hers. Even though it's taking a little bit more out of her in everything that she does to try to get back at him, she just to see him uncomfortable, just to make his life any way at all unbearable, she willing to go through it just to see his ass squirm because she's hurt that he did that. You know, and that's what she's telling Brad. And Brad telling her, you do that on your end. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you do. That's not what I'm going to do. Well, while they having the conversation, Randall pulls up. And she tried to get Brad to kiss her. But Brad was like, I'm not going to kiss you or do nothing to you in front of this man just to aggravate him or to hurt him. And she was like, again, asking him, why not? Why do you want to be such a good man to a woman who's done you so wrong? Your wife don't even realize what she got. Because even though you are hurting inside, you're still protecting her feelings. And you side like you really want to get back with her, which he did. And so that was the situation. And Randall, of course, pulls up and he trying to gesture her by head. Y'all know that head thing when the motherfucker tell you. And that girl, when slapped the fuck off on him, she told him, what? Go in the fucking house and sign the divorce papers, because she done. And I can understand, because Randall is a totally different type of person than Brad, okay? Brad is more of an affectionate, loving type of husband. Randall is kind of psychotic, borderline psychotic is what I would say he is. Even though I think that he feels remorse for hurting her, his desire to be with Alex really is stronger than his desire to fix what's wrong with his wife. If he could go to that girl and everything, you know, she'd accept him and they be together, he would gladly trade Marcy ass in a heartbeat. And that's what's eating at her. Because they supposed to have the same level of love that Brad and Alex had. Even though Brad mad at Alex and he giving her the blues, he ain't leaving the home. And he does somewhat communicate sometime with the bitch. You know what I'm saying? He ain't just over there ready to have no family picnic or nothing with the bitch. But he's still there. And you can tell that there's still love there. Whereas at their house, they just existing right now. He don't want to move. She don't want to move. He say he love her, but we all know he don't really love her because he damn near drove him crazy to get Alex to pick up the phone the other week. So obviously he not nowhere near through with this situation. He still got deep feelings for her, and that's knowing that. And for a woman to know that her used to be friend got her husband so gone like that, that's going to make her even more mad. So that's the reason why she's so adamant about doing stuff to Randall to make him uncomfortable and to hurt him. She, at this point, the hurt is so severe that if murder was legal, he would have been dead, okay? That I know that too well. Well, anyway, Brad tell her after Randall get, shamed into the house, stop telling people that. I'm going to tell your husband and I'm going to tell my wife that this baby thing is not, we didn't sleep together. And that's when she brought up the baby thing. She's like, do you know that your wife is pregnant with my husband's baby? And he's like, no, the timeline is not right. Because at this point, Brad still believes that that is his child, okay? He has no idea. Even though he had that vasectomy, they also came back and told him that that shit could fail after so long. So he really under the impression that he has this baby on the way by this girl, by his wife, Alex. He has no idea that this baby could turn out interracial. But we gonna get to that. Well, after she, try to spill tea and make him mad like that, it don't work. He basically shut her down, tell her, look, you handle your pain in your situation the way you going to handle it. I'm going to handle mine the way I'm going to handle it. And we going to all be all right. But we not finna be playing games with these people. I'm not going to partake in no lies that you may want to tell. Either one of them. I'm not going to have anything to do with that. He go back up in the house. When he go up in the house, he go up there where Alex is laying down there. Because that's where she ran off. When he refused to hug her, she ran out the room. She ran to her room and she up there laying down. Well, he's sitting there thinking about it, and he eventually lays down next to her and put his arm around her. And I'm assuming they had a coming to Jesus meeting moment right then, because it seemed like they on the road to trying to work things out. He ain't telling her to get out no damn more. He ain't saying he want to be away from her. In fact, he basically told Marcy downstairs that, he may forgive her, because he love her. And he also told Marcy that he can't fathom that baby not being his, because if that baby not his, then it just completely destroys what's left of them. In other words, if this baby come out black, I ain't fucking with this bitch no more, okay? Alright. So, we go to bed with them hugging each other and shit. We get up the next morning, school buses is running, children is going to school. We see Kelly, Brad, and Marcy. Kelly getting Justice off to school. Brad getting old Paisley and Peter off to school. And Marcy kind of standing there like, how in the hell did she get a man this damn good that he's willing to still play his complete role as father and husband after she does such horrible things to him? So she giving him the I can't believe it's not butter look. And Kelly speaks to Brad, and he speaks back, and they all go about their day. Okay? Alright. While they going about their day, Esperanza get her knocking her back door, and when she open it, it's Eddie. Eddie wants to see Mika. Well, Mika just left with the rest of the children on the school bus, and she tells him that, and Eddie basically has a meltdown there at Esperanza. He's apologizing for how bad he's treated her. He's apologizing for the type of man that he has become. He said he don't know who he is anymore. He don't know how he got like that. He's just very apologetic, and he wants to see his daughter. She's telling him that, he will see his daughter when she get out of school, and that he needs to calm down. And apparently Eddie left that hospital early too, because last week he just got out of surgery. This week he done popped up at the back door, which leads me to believe he probably running for his life, because he know he done fucked up. He know that hit was for him. But, she's telling him that she will help him get some help, She trying to comfort him. And she telling him that she should never take Mika away. You're going to see your daughter, and I'll help you get some help, but you got to change your ways. He realizing what kind of ass he done been to Esperanza. And yet she always the bitch that's there for him in the end, more so than that wife that he married that only shows up every couple of episodes and shit. So, he's starting to see the error of his damn ways. Yes, he is. And I want to say thank God. Well, while we on this next morning, we're going to go on over there to Brad and Alex's house. And Brad done left after he got the children off to school. And Alex is coming down the stairwell, and she begins to have labor pains. and they getting more and more severe. Well, instead of her, what I thought she would do, which is pick up the phone like she always do and call on her girls and maybe call her husband, no, she goes out the door and just conveniently, as she's going out that door, who do you think is outside fiddling around by their car? Which happens to be right next door to these people's house. Of course, it's Randall. And he see that she's in pain because she's doubling over and making her little grunting sound. So he throws her in the car against her will and takes her to the hospital. And on the route there, he's calling the doctor, letting her know that he's bringing Alex in and that she's in labor, right? Well, she's telling him that she don't want his help. She want him to leave her alone. Don't touch her. But while she's saying all that shit, she telling the motherfucker hurry up because them pains getting more severe. Now, I'm going to just stop and pause a minute. Now, I know every pregnancy and every delivery the same. Yes, I'm not the same. I know they not the same. I've had 4 babies, 3 births. Because I have a set of twins up in there for those of y'all that might not caught that. But after you deal with birth number 1, it kind of soldier you up on how to deal with these other births that came to afterwards. And my thing is, I know it's TV, but y'all could have been a little bit more believable with this bitch. This bitch acting like she on baby number 1. She's never had those type of pains before. She don't know what to do. She can't even walk. Y'all ain't never had a heart. Y'all, I drove myself to the hospital having a fucking heart attack, okay? And then, with the children, birthing babies, I didn't have to call nobody. You know, I did, but I didn't have to. I could have jumped in my car and made it on down there to the hospital. We could all meet up in the delivery room and do this thing. Because once you deal with that type of pain, you know, every birth is different, but it makes you kind of become familiar with what that shit. And then look at the ages of her kids. Ain't like she took no break with these children. You know, Paisley and Peter look like they close by in age. So it can't be no more than maybe 1 or 2 years between them. And then this baby she finna have here. Now this is probably one that's the furthest out, you know. But she was acting like this was her first pregnancy and the pains were just shocking her. And child, I don't know. They played that shit up. But any damn way, he finally get her ass there. And the next thing we see, Natalie, Esperanza, and Kelly showing up as he's sitting in the delivery room. You know, the waiting area, waiting to hear what's going to happen. And they telling him to catch ass before Brad get there. Well, he acting like he don't really want to go. So Kelly kind of got forceful with him. And I guess he thought about it and realized, yeah, I probably do need to get my ass from up here because I'm in enough shit, you know. So he leaves. Well, when he leaves, here comes the doctor. And she's telling them that, you know, the baby is healthy and fine. It's a boy, and that Alex is okay. But she ain't saying do they want to see nobody. And she's asking for Brad. And the doctor saying that she really needs to talk to Brad when he gets there before he sees Alex or the baby. So, of course, that put them on alert because they know what the possibility is. They know she been sleeping with this black man. She got pregnant while she was cheating with this black man. So everybody automatically, you know, kind of wondering, oh, Lord, this doctor ain't acting right. What's going on? She ain't saying this girl's sick. Ain't nothing wrong with this baby. But it's something that she want to see Brad before he see her and this baby. So they go to the newborn area, you know, the little room where they keep all the newborn. I forgot what it's called because my ass ain't had a baby in 25 years. The last baby I had was 18 years ago to be exact. So I don't know. I know it's a neonatal when they sick. I don't know what they call it for the babies that ain't sick. So that's where they went, where they keep all the babies at. And they pretty much shocked. They walked to that window, baby, and there is a little mixed baby laying right there. And I'm assuming they must have seen the name on there because they knew that was Alex and Brad. Well, Alex and Randall's baby. And they standing there like, you know, oh my God. Like they knew it could be a possibility, but they didn't, they was hoping for the best. That it wasn't going to turn out to be, you know, his baby. But apparently it is. And they showed a little glimpse of the little interracial child. And next, they like, we don't know how we're going to tell Brad this. And as they say that, Brad walks up and says, tell Brad what. And they turn around and everybody got the dick look. And that's it for this season, guys. So I guess next season we gonna find out what Lucian actually says to Captain Mackey about the question he asked about is Eddie a dirty cop? We gonna find out the resolution to this Brad and Alex and Morris and Randall thing, because apparently this baby is, as we suspected, is Randall's baby. This is a biracial baby. So we gonna find out what's gonna happen. Did y'all see the commercial for the have and the have-nots? I tell you, I'm not reviewing. I'm gonna tell y'all why. I'm not reviewing it because that's a show I enjoy watching on my own. And sometimes when I have to do the reviews on a show, I don't get the opportunity to fully enjoy that show the way I would like to. So the have and the have-nots, I'm going to keep to myself. Now, we could talk about it. I know other people do review it. Ashley Miller does it. I think maybe the Ghetto, I'm not quite certain if she does it or not, but I know for a fact Ashley Miller does the haves and have-nots, and she does an excellent job of it. Y'all, if y'all don't know, she did so well. Tyler Perry actually brought her to Beverly Hills and had her at a party, baby, with all the celebs. I'm talking about she was in the room with Miss Oprah and all the big fish. So apparently, you know, doing these videos and reviews on YouTube does sometimes turn out to be, you know, a blessing for you, because she was blessed with the opportunity to go to a party hosted by him at his house with all these celebrities and stuff, and it all came from her doing her reviews for the haves and have-nots. So I encourage everybody that watch me, if you're not subscribed to Ashley, please go over there and subscribe to her, and she gonna bring you the real tea on the haves and have-not. You'll see me down in the comment section from time to time, maybe talking about what went on, but I won't be reviewing that. The only thing that I will tell y'all for certain I know I'm going to review is Basketball Wives LA. I'm not reviewing Married to Medicine. I'm going to do a video later on in the weekend when I tell y'all a little bit about my experience being the wife of a prominent figure. Then maybe you'll understand why I really don't want to touch some shit like that. Sometimes some stuff take you back and you don't want to go back there. So I won't be doing it, but I'll be watching Squeaky Jones. She gonna be reviewing it. I can't wait to hear what she got to say. And Sean Bradley gonna do it too, so I can't wait to hear their reviews and be all down in their comment sections and things of that nature. Y'all did ask me about them Braxton family values, and I did look at that shit. I told y'all I'm not no I only like Tony. I mean, you know, I might incorporate little bits and tidbits about these shows, the Braxton family value in the news. I might add that into that, okay? But I'm not gonna just, you know, make a separate video like I do Love and Hip Hop ATL and thank you Jesus, thank you Jesus, thank you Jesus. I didn't have to do one this week. Sometimes we just need a break as, you know, bloggers and stuff to woosah and not have that pressure of having to get these reviews out, because although we enjoy it, it is work, y'all. It's a lot of work going to getting these reviews out and making sure we watch these shows and staying objective. And, you know, from time to time we do show that we got favorites, and I do. You know, I ain't gonna lie about that. But I also come back and try to look at it from, you know, a neutral perspective. I try to give you an unbiased opinion as well as my biased opinion in my reviews. So that's what I've been doing. But I wasn't really impressed with what I saw. I mean, it was a toned down episode. All we saw was Mama, what that woman named, Lord? See, now that's why I don't like reviewing it. They mama child, she got to have surgery on Evelyn. She got to have, you know, she got a herniated disc in her neck, and she going to have surgery for that. In the meantime, she trying to get the girls to get back together because, according to the storyline, it's been months since they really had any interaction. I think the last time they really dealt with each other was when Tamar kicked her two sisters off the damn stage, and, you know, them feelings there was kind of bad. We saw Tamar find out that juggler don't have shit to do with no fucking balls unless you juggling them in your hand. We found out that Gabe and Trina supposed to be getting divorced again, and this time it's supposed to be something sinister with Gabe that she don't want to reveal to her sisters because they would really go crazy. But we also seen, you know, clips from where an ambulance is called. We don't know why that was called. We see a scene where she's talking about, you know, she can be quite the bitch or whatever. So, you know, it was alright. It was a nice introduction. Did nothing really major happen on that episode. Nothing major really happened on part 1. You know, the first. Well, this ain't no new season. This the same season. It's just they do that break and then they come back thing, and they just coming back. So I will, if it's something happen on the shit that I like or I feel like I want to talk about, I'll add it in the news. I'll make a mention of them Braxtons on there. But I'm not going to take a whole, you know, video and dedicate it to the Braxtons, because for what? It need to end. I mean, sometimes you get to a point with a show where it's over. Like, pretty much the Real Housewives of Atlanta is really over. They still just holding on to them hoes, but nevertheless, whatever. Anyway, I got another video I got to make in reference to the Fresh Collective. So, in the meantime, in between time. Oh, thank you all. Miss Latasha, Miss Simone. I got y'all names. Hold on. Miss Latasha, Miss Simone, Miss KJ Speaks, Miss Compton Native, who's taking a temporary break right now. We miss you, Mama Love. Mama Love, we don't see you in our comment sections, but I mean, I do think about you often, and I will be, you know, hitting you up via text message to check on you in the next couple of days. Make sure you're all right and everything. But I thank you all that encouraged me to do this series with you and stayed in my comments and talked with me throughout the 10, 11 weeks of this shit that we had to do. So, you know, thank you to all of y'all that was supportive. Miss Sugar 212, I hope you staying off them cigarettes, Mom. Two a week is what you said. Come on now, we working toward a smoke-free living. It's been 3 weeks for me, guys, and I ain't gonna say that the urges are not there, but they're nothing like they were the first 2 weeks. So keep me in prayer on that, and until this shit come back next time, peace.